Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another NDM70 adventure. Today I'm down at the Avebury Stone Circle, starting today's walk just outside the National Trust car park. A few information boards to start with, which are situated here on the left. We'll have a small walk towards the Stone Circle, and then we will start to look at some of my favourite parts of this magical place. Okay, so just entering the first section of the circle today. Fairly busy, which is incredible for a Monday. Although there is a lot of sheep here as well. Didn't see their coach. Anyway, we're going to go have a look at the Swindon Stone. Okay, so just making our way around the henge now, which is massive. We'll talk a little bit about that a bit later on. Going down towards the Swindon Stone, which sits on the road that goes to Swindon, funnily enough. Otherwise it'd be the Peterborough Stone, I guess, wouldn't it? But we'll go over there in a minute and have a look at it. I'll give you a couple of details. There's a couple of people having a good look at it at the minute, so we'll give them some space and then we'll have a look. Okay, so as promised, the Swindon Stone. I think this is probably the largest one in the complex. And it's the only one that wasn't re-erected, so that's been there since it was first placed. A lot of the others have been restood. Take you around the other side. As you can probably tell, it is absolutely enormous. Weighs around somewhere, I think 65 tons, which is mad. Most of the others weigh an average of around 40, so 65 tons, that is some piece. So another small road crossing. This is the hare path that runs up to the Ridgeway, and over the other side of that is Fifield Down, where I was last time. But this next bit is the famous beech trees on the henge at Avebury. So I'll spin you around and we'll have a good look at that. Quite incredible. One would say magical. Right, without falling over, back down on the steps, and then we're going up on to the henge. Quick bit about the henge itself and its current state: somewhere between 3 to 4 meters deep. Now, when it was first built, this rascal would have been 9 meters deep. Now that is absolutely nuts, and that's dug out with deer antlers, picks, bits of bone. the man hours going into this would have been phenomenal. So every time I come here and look at it, I just can't believe that it ever got done. So, you know, if you are here, have a look and ponder and think, well, how the hell did they do it? Mad. Just entering the avenue now, just a tiny bit away from the stone circle. This obviously leads to it. Going the opposite way in which we're walking takes us, or would have done originally, or believed to have done, up to the sanctuary, which we'll visit later on today. But this place is mad as well. Quite a few of the stones aren't here. They've got concrete pillars where they would have stood, but a lot of them are. So when we get a bit closer, we'll have a look. There's me mates, the cows again. Pretty much every trip I go on, they seem to lurk, like they almost know that I'm coming. So about halfway along the avenue now, going towards the sanctuary, away from the circle. Bit of a hidden gem tucked away here, a few people know about it. Guess not everybody, but I'm certainly going to bore you to death with it. This one here, I'm just going to gently turn you around. Now, to the back of this, if you watch my other film, we hunted down the polisher stone, which if I quickly actually turn you that way, is up on that ridge line is the ridgeway, so the tree's in the furthest with a barrow. On the other side of that is 5 foot down, and that's where the polisher is, just to try and give you a bit of bearing. So if we come back round again to this, right at the bottom of here is another polisher. So you can make out the groove marks again in there for the axe, and there's the smoothing dish. So this could have been laid down originally, or it could have been stood up. I don't know. My money is that they were laid down like the other one. Probably easier for use. But this has obviously been repurposed as a standing stone as part of the avenue. What a lovely little thing to find. Okay, next section then. This is Wadden Hill. Quite a steep little climb up to the top. I'm going to turn you round so you can see the footpath. And when we get to the top, the views will open up to the Neolithic mound, which is Silbury Hill. Its purpose of being built, don't think anyone's ever going to pinpoint that, but it's beautiful. So when we get to the top, we'll have a good old look. Okay, so just got to the top of Wadden Hill, which is approaching the very peak of it. As we go over the brow of the hill, Silbury Hill will come into view. A Neolithic man-made mound, which I believe is the biggest in Europe. Got a feeling it may predate the pyramids as well. But I'll spin you around, and as we get up to the top, you'll see it come into view, and it is absolutely something to behold. Okay, across the busy main road from Silbury Hill, just entering the field that takes us up to the West Kennet Long Barrow. I'll just spin you around so you can have a look at the information board, and then I'm going to hike up to the top. So cow avoidance has been achieved. Probably told a couple of people that I know on a visit to a long barrow, the name of which escapes me at the minute, in Wiltshire 5 weeks ago. Got surrounded by some of our brown cow friends. One of them had a particular interest in me, especially my rear, as he managed to shove his nose underneath my arse and bolt me over the top of the fence, which was nice. Anyway, I'm going to turn you around now. You can see the hill that will take us up to West Kennet Long Barrow. So at the top, outside West Kennet Long Barrow, this will be a fleeting visit because there is a lot of people around today, and I respect the people. I could probably do a whole film on this one on its own, but while we're here, I'll give you a quick look around, maybe have a quick peek inside as well. Entrance to West Kennet Long Barrow. Okay, going to leave West Kennet Long Barrow behind now. I'm going to hike for a good couple of miles up to the sanctuary, then going to go down through Overton Hill Barrows and head back to the Stone Circle. Try and pick out a few points of interest on the way. So I'm off for a walk. So just arrived at the bottom of this incline up towards the sanctuary. Last time we walked this particular stretch, which is part of the Ridgeway, was 2 weeks ago for the summer solstice at Avebury. Walked from West Overton with a couple of friends this way and up there at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was quite cool, to be fair. Well, not just cool as in temperature cool, but it was really cool. There's barrows at the top. They were all surrounded in mist and sunrise was starting to maybe just appear. It looked incredible, absolutely magical. But not sleeping doesn't really help me. So we made it to the sanctuary, just walked you through it. It's all now marked with concrete posts to where what would have been timber posts, big timber posts. So kind of like a stone circle but made of timber, whether it was roofed or not, again, open to interpretation really. But it's believed that this is the start of the ceremonial avenue, which a bit of we walked up earlier and which we're going to walk back down again at the end, all the way to the Stone Circle. So kind of one end of the serpent, if you like, if you're familiar with Stukely's map of Avebury. It kind of does look a bit like a serpent, with the two avenues joining onto the ends of each entrance to the Stone Circle. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. Well, down from Overton down Barrows. I'm just going to turn you around quickly so you can see where they were. Up there with the trees on the ridgeline is the Overton Down Barrows Cemetery, which snakes down and then back to here where we now pick up the West Kennet Avenue. which starts here and goes all the way up to the stone circle. I'll touch base with you when we get there. Well, all good things must come to an end. This one's going to end in there. Thanks very much for joining me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.